Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and this video is Shady Springs, Daniels, and Beaver, West Virginia on Route 19 as if you're heading to Beckley. It has been at least 20 years, maybe a little bit longer since I've been on this road. I lived in Daniels for a brief bit of time years ago, and honestly, well, let's just say it's been years. Uh, so I'm very anxious just by this video and driving around, just looking around to see what's changed, what's stayed the same, and different things. One of my favorite roads to go up, we're actually not going to go on it this time, but I'll probably be back in the area because I do want to go Route 3, which is just up here on the right. It takes you to Hinton. I've got to do a Pluto Road video at some point, so that'll be out that way. One day I'm going to venture down into Glade Creek. That'll be something else at some point too, because it's been years since I've been in Glade Creek. Last time I was there, I was hiking with a couple of my friends for waterfalls, and I think that was in 2010. Gosh, 2012 maybe? Oh, I don't know. But to actually be on Route 19 driving Shady Springs, Daniels to Beaver, it's been over 20 years since I've done this. So let's talk a little bit about Shady Springs and go from there. It's known Shady Springs because of the springs, obviously. And there was a past president who had ventured into the area during the Civil War. I've mentioned him several times before, but he talked about the springs here. It was General Rutherford B. Hayes. He described the springs in 1862 as a large spring that gives the name to this place. Water gushes out copiously, runs on the surface for a few rods, and runs again into the earth. So that is why it's called Shady Spring. It never run dry. The spring never run dry. And according to the history of the Shady Spring District, the first businesses in the area were the Pioneer Inn and the Tavern, established in 1832 by Henry Hull and his brothers. And the first post office was established in 1925, and the postmistress was Miss Sarah Willis. The whole community back in the day would come over to the springs, bring in their wash tubs to fill full of water and stuff. So I thought that was pretty neat about the springs. Of course, that's where it got its name. Now, as you could tell, most of it back there, uh, it was more residential. So out of all three, Shady Springs has more of a population for residents. I'd say it's somewhere around 3,500, maybe 3,200, somewhere around there. Daniels and Beaver have less. Daniels has about, I think, 1,000. Beaver has about 1,000, but Beaver has more businesses. You'll see a lot more fast food chains and different things coming up here. Now we're on our way up through here. I'm noticing a lot of road work, so they're doing all kinds of stuff. Not exactly sure why or what's going on with the road work, but there is a road right here. I'm very familiar with this. This road cuts to the right here. Um, this is the road that I used to travel to get home when I lived up there. So that takes, excuse me, that took you to Little Beaver State Park and stuff. So I was very familiar with that road. And one day, well, maybe I'll be back up here and I'll drive it. But there clearly looks to be a lot of road work going on. Whether they're maybe expanding the roads or doing something, I'm not sure. But there is a lot of road work going on. Daniels is more or less more of an unincorporated little community, and Beaver is more of another little, I guess, incorporated town. Beaver let's see, was originally called something else. They wanted it to be called Beaver originally because there were tons of beavers in the area. But there was another town in West Virginia named Beaver. So they decided not to name it Beaver. And it ended up being named Oxley for a little bit. And then there was something about Oxley after a Huntington man who ran a clothing store there. But in 1929 or 1930, Grover Hedrick bought the Ritter Lumber Company and had changed the name to Glen Hedrick. And then after that, the residents petitioned the federal government for another name change, and it ended up going to Beaver, like it originally wanted to be, in 1939. So there's a lot of interesting information in the history of the Shady Springs district, which was compiled by the Women's Club of Shady Springs. So there's a lot of interesting information there, and that came out in like 1979. The population, like I said, Beaver is about 1,100, I believe. But the airport, Beckley's airport, is technically in Beaver. It's not going to be in this video, but a future video here in the next, I don't know, week, 2 weeks coming out, we'll be up there driving to the airport because I got to talk about the airport when I'm in this area. I'm a travel agent, I have to. But you can see there's a lot going on here, some traffic and stuff. I'm noticing a lot of new businesses. Like I said, it's been years since I've driven this road from Shady Spring to Beaver. I see that Tudors right there. That's new. Everybody loves Tudors. I do too. Can get a biscuit. I'll get a biscuit there anytime I'm back in West Virginia. Well, not at that specific Tudors, but at a Tudors somewhere. But this area is just south of Beckley, so I would consider all of this a suburb of Beckley. Beckley is basically the county seat of Raleigh County, a large city. Um, Several different exits off of the interstate. It's the county. I think I said the county seat of Beckley, but it is a large city. A lot goes on in Beckley, and we'll have a couple videos of portions of Beckley coming out too. So one of the things I can talk about, because we've passed it already, is the Glade Springs Resort, and it is really nice. They have vacation rentals. They have family pet-friendly rooms. I love that. There's dining on site, spa. They're good. They have a golf course, meeting rooms. They've done weddings there. They have events. Um, all kinds of things. If you can't go to the Greenbrier and stay at the Greenbrier, well, go to Glade Springs Resort. It's really nice. I've um, I've been there a couple of times. Of course, there's a pool. There's like there's a cafe. There's a sports bar. There's a poolside grill. Another bar and grill. Uh, they have the rotunda. You can eat at the rotunda. Just different places to eat. The stays, the vacation rentals. They have suites, villas, cabins, two-bedroom manor house suite, three-bedroom, 4-bedroom one, all kinds of stuff to stay in out there. Uh, it's a really, really nice resort, and of course the spa too. You have to go check it out. So I highly recommend going to the place, and especially if you like golf. But I've actually went to a wedding there once. And some people have meetings there at that resort too. So definitely, if you're in the area or need a place to stay, go check it out. It's really nice, really classy resort. So you can now tell that we're in Beaver. We've already talked about Beaver, but you could tell it's more business, uh, fast food, grocery store, gas station kind of thing going on through here in Beaver. And we're almost, honestly, to the end of the video. I'm going to shut it off here in just a few minutes. Well, actually, less than a minute away. because once you get out of here, you go through, well, this is, I think, the hill. As we go up the hill just up ahead, we end up in Beckley. That's how close you really are to Beckley. So my next video, I'm going to start probably about right here and show you how close Beckley really is. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure or even a road trip. Talk to you all later.